Recording in progress.
Thank you. Welcome everyone to the Weber County Commissioners meeting held on this Tuesday, April 22nd. I'm Commissioner Sharon Bolos. I'm joined by Commissioner Jim Harvey and Commissioner Gage Froer. Wave to the people. We'll have our Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by Ms. Stephanie Ebert, and our invocation will be given by Mr. Liam Keogh.
Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Father in heaven, we're grateful to meet on this spring morning in this public meeting. We're grateful for those who could attend. We're grateful for those who work to make their community and their neighborhoods a better place, and the acts that they do, both in public and in private. We pray that we will continue to enjoy the freedoms that we have in this good state and in this county. And pray that we will continue to act accordingly to continue to have these blessings upon us and upon our children, and pray that we will make decisions to better our own lives and the lives of those around us, and that we can do so in a manner that demonstrates our commitment and our gratitude to Thee and all the blessings that we have here. And we say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you, Ms. Ebert. Mr. Keogh. Item D on our agenda is Commissioner comments. Commissioners?
None for me today, thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to item E, agenda-related public comments. Comments will be taken for items listed on the agenda. We ask that anyone who speaks limit their comments to 3 minutes, and if you are here to speak in one of the public hearings, you can wait until that point on the agenda. Is there anyone who'd like to come forward at this time? Anyone online, Christy? Okay, item F, consent items. Number 1, request for approval of purchase orders in the amount of $508,000.51. Number 2, request for approval of warrants numbers 104,831 through 104,878, and numbers 490,403 through 490,582, and numbers 434 through 435 in the amount of $1,249,887.79. For a summary of warrants and purchase orders, Mr. Jason Horan, please.
Good morning, Commissioners. As far as purchase orders are concerned, it looks like the total PO count was 22. The total PO amount was $508,000. Departments exceeding 5% of the total purchase orders would be 60%, or $303,000. As for the Golden Spike, that's temporary flooring, crack seal, and canopy tents. 14% or $73,000 is for Weber Morgan Health Department, and that's for flu vaccinations. And 8% or $43,000 is for fleet, and that's upfitting for sheriff and roads vehicles. As far as the warrant report summary is concerned, it looks like total warrants for 132. The total warrant amount was $1.2 million, and items making up more than 5% of a department's spending. We've got 38% or $469,000 for ramp grants to Hooper City, Onstage Ogden, Good Company Theater, and Utah Humanities Council. 13% or $162,000 is for the jail for inmate counseling, training, culinary, cleaning supplies. 10% or $136,000 is for road construction, 4,000 north and far west. 7% or $83,000 is for ARPA funds for R.E. Bailey project. The top 5 highest paid vendors would be Hooper City at $241,000, Onstage Ogden at $134,000, Far West City at $125,000, Weber Human Services at $96,000. That's interesting. We'll skip that one. Liberty Piping Company at $83,000.
Any questions?
Intriguing, no.
Okay. Seeing none, Number 4, request for approval of the minutes for the meeting held on April 15th, 2025. Number 5, request for approval of new business licenses. Number 6, request for approval to remove parcel 15-157-00. I read that wrong. 15-057-0054 from agricultural protection area. Number 7, request for approval of a change order on a contract by and between Weber County and the Alta Excavation for the 2200 South Improvement Project. Commissioners, I'm ready to entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion. We approve those consent items as listed F1 through and including 7 on our agenda today.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item G, action items. Number 1, request for approval of Resolution 23-2025 of the County Commissioners of Weber County approving the 2024 Municipal Wastewater Planning Program Annual Report. Mr. Joshua Bryant.
Good
Welcome.
morning.
Morning.
Stepping on the plugs. Yeah, we went over that with you guys last week, and the survey just comes from the state to help them keep tabs on the sewer systems of the state and how they're operating. So our systems are new, they're fairly new, and they're in good shape. We have over 18 miles of sewer lines in Weber County now, and just under 1,000 connections available, with about half of those connected right now. So we added 104 new connections last year. So that's kind of the state of it. Any questions?
We appreciate you including that report and for sharing that with us in our work session. Any questions? Commissioners?
No.
None for me. I have to make a motion.
Please.
You're ready. I move to approve Resolution 23-2025 as presented this morning by Joshua Bryant. And I would add to that, just Joshua and Chad do a great job. This is a critical infrastructure need for Weber County, and they continue to show good judgment in the operation and maintenance of these wastewater disposal systems.
Thank you.
Second.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Mr. Brandt?
Roll call vote for Resolution 23-2025. Commissioner Ford?
Aye.
Commissioner Harvey?
Aye.
Chair Bolos?
Aye. Thank you so much. Number 2, request for approval of Resolution 24-2025 of the County Commissioners of Weber County appointing members to the Weber Human Services Board. Chris Crockett was the presenter. Mr. Keough, are you going to take that one?
I am.
Please.
There are 3 vacancies currently on the Weber Human Services Board to be filled. These are staggered terms, with one ending at the end of 2025, the other at the end of 2026, and the other at the end of 2027. The Weber Human Services has submitted 3 names for your consideration: Robert Hunter, Julie Southwick, and Clint Thurgood. And these are the names that have been presented for your ratification.
Thank you. Commissioners, any questions? These 3 are currently serving on the board and apparently wish to continue.
They've done a good job, and Madam Chair, when you're ready, I'll make that recommendation or a motion.
Please.
Make a motion, we approve those names as submitted by Mr. Keough this morning. That'd be Resolution 24-2025.
And I'd be happy to second that, and also acknowledge the service of Robert and Julie Southwick and Clint Thurgood for the past years. It's great to see they willing to continue.
Great members. Okay, I have a motion and a second. Mr. Brandt?
Roll call vote for Resolution 24-2025. Commissioner Ford?
Aye.
Commissioner Harvey?
Aye.
Chair Bolos?
Aye, motion carries. Thank you. Number 3, request for approval of a ticketing services agreement by and between Weber County and ETIX Inc. for Culture, Parks, and Recreation ticket sales. Mr. Marty Smith, do you want to come forward and present this? I know we have a plan to table this, but I'd like to hear about it, and then we can tie up the concerns that I had.
Yeah, sure. Commissioners, we put out a request for proposals for ticketing services for our 2 box offices, which is the Golden Spike Event Center and the Piers Egyptian Theater. We received 10 proposals. For those services, by committee, we scored those, narrowed it to 3, had 3 companies come in and do oral proposals. From that, the committee scored again and chose ETIX. Our current provider missed the cutoff for submitting a proposal, so they were automatically eliminated. And from there, we've worked with Jason in purchasing, Lauren Thomas and Liam sitting right here in the attorney's office to work through the contract for that. We're going to say, our customers are going to save a lot of money on tickets with fees, because that's where the system is paid for, through fees added onto the tickets. But as Quinn spoke to me, the system just links out to the eTix site when a customer clicks on that link, and it takes them to the eTix site to purchase their tickets. But probably best to table this for a week, just to make sure IT is okay with the system that before we sign this contract. And so I can present more next week, or whenever the time comes that we're ready to sign this. But
Okay, and I don't even know if, once we hear back from IT that this is going to be compatible and we don't have any concerns that way, then I don't think that there's a need to explain it any further, as long as you, any questions for Marty today?
Commissioners, the eTix will provide all the equipment, so that's point-of-sale systems, iPads, credit card readers. I also need to mention, we worked with our treasurer's office to work through the merchant account things as well. They've signed off on it, so the treasurer, purchasing, legal have all signed off on the process. So if we can get Quinn and IT to sign off on this, we should be good to go.
Yeah, that'd be
That
great.
works.
And if we can do that by next week, then I will
Great.
bring this back. So, okay,
thank
thank you.
you.
Appreciate it. Okay, then I would entertain a motion.
Motion to hold item number 3 on our agenda today. Let's do a time certain. Quinn, do you think you can get this in the next 2 or 3 days just to go over things? And let's do it because of the stipulations in the ticketing contract, so that Culture Parks and Recreation can continue to move forward. Let's do a time certain next week.
Okay.
Yeah, just a week from today.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to hold. All in favor?
Aye?
Aye, motion carries. Thank you. Number 4, discussion and/or action on the Tax Review Committee recommendation regarding the request for prior year tax relief from Brandon C. Bobco, tax parcel 21-026-0061. Ms. Stephanie Ebert, welcome.
Hi. Okay, we received a request for prior year disabled veteran tax relief from Brandon Bobco on February 26th of 2025, dating back to the year 2020. Mr. Bobco was informed that the clerk auditor's office could only abate taxes with a late appeal for up to 1 year. And so he did come in and complete the necessary paperwork for 2024 and 2025. And he has been approved for tax relief for 2024 and 2025. He claimed that he was only required to submit an application one time for tax relief as a disabled veteran. And while the Tax Commission standard does in fact state that disabled veterans are required to submit one application for their ongoing exemption, that same section cites that annual contact with taxpayers receiving any of these exemptions is necessary to ensure the exemptions are applied consistently and equitably. So in other words, we need to be able to verify that the ownership or occupancy of the property has not changed, or that the claimant is still living, or that the disability rating is still the same. So we send out, as our procedure, a letter verifying or requesting to verify that taxpayer's information each year and ask them to return it. Mr. Bobco did not return his 2020 tax relief form, and so he was not granted tax relief for 2020 forward until he came in just this February. As mentioned, we did grant tax relief to Mr. Bobco for 2024, and 2025 has also been approved. But for the years 2020 through 2023, Mr. Bobco's request was submitted to the county's Tax Review Committee. This case was heard by that committee on March 12th, and the recommendation to the commission from that meeting was to deny tax relief for the years 2020 through 2023. So that is the story, and I would be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Any questions for Ms. Ebert?
No questions. Just make a comment. I appreciate Ms. Ebert and her department following state code. The reason state code and tax commission have those rules in place is to make sure that tax relief is granted to those people that go through the proper process, but doesn't grant to people that don't deserve it. So this is another example of our great department and the clerk auditors following state code. And I'd be happy to make a motion to support Ms. Ebert's recommendation.
Okay, I have a motion.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate the work on that. To you and the committee. Number 5, request for approval of a grant agreement by and between Weber County and the State of Utah Division of Facilities Construction and Management for improvements to the Weber County Sports Complex. Ms. Stephanie Russell.
Commissioners, I am very pleased to bring this item to you today. Just a little bit of background on what we're asking for. This is going to be a contract to provide some funding for the renovation of our ice sheet. And the way this came about, this funding was allocated to the county about in 2022. It's been kind of a fun haul down the road to get this funding. We worked very closely, my department, with Marty's department, specifically Todd Ferrario, and our pro bono lobbyist, Commissioner Frower. And we were able to petition the Utah Olympic and Paralympic Grant Fund, do an application. That fund is managed by the Division of Facilities Construction and Management and the Utah Games Committee. So as you can see from this particular request, we are entering into a contract with the Utah Division of Facilities Construction and Management to be awarded this funding to begin the renovation on our, what we call our legacy venue, which is our Weber County ice sheet. This will just be phase 1 of this renovation, but we're really excited to get this started as we will be hosting the World, Todd,
Curling.
help me out. Men's World Curling Championships next year, which we're extremely excited about. So this came at the right time. Todd's already got everything in motion, and this is kind of the final seal on us being able to have those funds delivered to us.
Okay, any questions?
No questions or comments, Cheryl.
Please.
I just want to give thanks to Stephanie and Ashland from Economic Development and Government Relations. This has been really a work in progress since 2022. A matter of that money was always there, we just couldn't find it. And after some visits to some key legislators over the past 2 years, we were able to finally kick it loose, and it's glad to see. We knew we were going to get it, we just didn't know exactly when. But working with Senator McKell and a couple of other legislators at DFCM, looks like we're on the right track. So anyway, appreciate your work on that.
Our pleasure, and we're just excited about the potential to get this venue renovated, as it is part of the legacy venues in the state of Utah for the Olympics.
Right. And we'll continue to work with DFCM as we get closer to the future Olympics.
Yep.
And that well-renowned committee that Commissioner Harvey's very well aware of, for sure. Anyway,
Okay,
comment.
Second with a comment.
okay, please.
You know, I want to also commend Todd Ferrario and Marty Smith, who, in anticipation of getting ready for this, what will be this men's curling championship, they're already starting to get some of the infrastructure, the rooms, the flooring, the ice, the chillers, the ammonia systems. They've got a great timeline through this summer, so we'll be ready to go for what will be the likelihood of the first official Olympic test event for 2034. So great planning in advance, and so what a great team we have up there. They're making phenomenal strides, and we're lucky. We're really lucky. So it's easy to second that motion without hesitation.
Great, I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much.
Item H, public hearing. Number 1, request for motion to adjourn public meeting and convene public hearings.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. The first one, number 2, is a public hearing regarding parking violation fine increases in areas near Pine View and Causey Reservoirs. Mr. Sean Wilkinson, you threw me off there a little bit. She's really anxious.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Good morning.
All right, so before you today is an ordinance amendment that would increase the fine for parking violations in our recreational areas around Pine View and Causey reservoirs. So we've had a couple of work sessions regarding this topic. One was on January 27th, the other was on February 10th. At the February 10th meeting, we invited representatives from the Forest Service, UDOT, County Roads and Engineering, and the Sheriff's Office for their input on this topic. And everyone came to the agreement that something needed to be done to solve this problem. So let me just go through the updated ordinance and the reasoning behind it, and I'm happy to answer any questions after that. So, Commissioners, Weber County has seen an increase in parking violations near Pine View and Causey reservoirs, particularly during the summer months, May 15th through September 15th. These parking violations create a public safety hazard by increasing pedestrian traffic near moving vehicles and by reducing the travel space available for vehicular traffic, including emergency vehicles. In an effort to improve this situation and deter parking violations in these areas, increased fines for parking violations are being proposed. Currently, parking violations in these areas result in a fine of $50 if paid within 14 days and $100 if paid after 14 days. The new fines will be applied as follows. May 15th through September 15th each year on any highway or road where Weber County has parking enforcement authority in the following two locations: the road to Causey Reservoir and all roads branching off of it east of the entrance to the Weber Memorial Park campground, and all locations within 1/4 mile of the Pine View Reservoir high water mark. So in those two areas, for a vehicle owner who has had no violations during the 1-year period before the date of the citation, if the fine is paid within 14 days from the date of the notice of violation, or if it's contested with a hearing officer within 14 days but is sustained, the fine shall be $150. So that's up from the initial $50. If the fine is not paid or contested within 14 days, the fine shall be increased to $300. For a vehicle owner who has had one or more previous violations during the 1-year period before the date of the citation, if the fine is paid within 14 days from the date of the notice of violation, or if the citation is contested with a hearing officer within that 14-day period but is sustained, the fine shall be $300. If the fine is not paid or contested within 14 days, the fine shall be increased to $600. So these are substantial increases, but based on the work sessions and the input we received, we're doing this for a reason. The fines in all other areas within the county will basically stay the same. So if the fine is paid within 14 days, or if it's contested within 14 days but sustained, the fine will be $50. And if it's not paid or contested within the 14 days, it will be $100, like it is currently. So we're really focused on those two recreational areas near Pine View and Causey reservoirs, where we have substantial traffic and safety concerns. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
I have just one clarifying question. So in the current ordinance, there is no increased fine for repeat offenders. That's new, correct?
That is correct. That is new.
And there won't be a penalty for repeat offenders for all other locations.
Correct.
Okay. Any other questions?
Question, yeah. So obviously, we understand that we won't have jurisdiction around Pine View beginning most likely January 1st of 2026.
Correct.
So this ordinance that we're passing for Pine View, not for Causey, would only last through that date, and then it would, unless the new city decided to implement it or change it.
Correct. It will stay in place unless it's changed.
Okay.
But yeah, the new city would have the authority to change it.
So it would stay in place unless the new city council decided to modify that?
That's correct.
That's correct. Okay.
Yes.
I just wanted to clarify that.
Great
Causey
clarification,
obviously would
yes.
remain outside the city.
That's right.
So that would be up to future commissioners to make any adjustments there.
Yes.
Okay.
Anything to add at this point?
That's a great work that you and your team, the legal team as well, have done, and we appreciate that. This will help keep that road. Sometimes it's just, those holiday weekends are super dangerous, and people don't seem to, they go up there, in the past, what they've done is gone up there, and they think, $10 a piece, everybody in the car, not bad price for parking. So this'll put a little more teeth to it, and then that money can go back into additional enforcement. So grateful for that. It's easy to second this. No problem.
Okay, we'll hold that for the public hearing, but don't go far.
Okay.
We'll go to number 3, public hearing to rezone by ordinance approximately 25.69 acres of land located at approximately 600 south, 4700 west from the A1 zone to the RE15 zone. File number ZMA 2024-09. Ms. Tammy Adela.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
You haven't seen this in a work session for a minute. It's been probably August of 2023, and I think the last time this came before you, there were some concerns about connectivity. This is a request to rezone approximately 26 acres from the A1 to the R115 zone, and it's located on 4700 west at about 600 south. The applicant, through this rezone, would be providing some significant connectivity. They would be providing a parks donation of $7,500 per unit, and this is proposed with 74 units.
Can you go back a slide or two, or is that ahead, or whatever it is?
Right there?
Just,
Yeah, just kind of some bullet points. Applicants proposing pathways throughout, and this is, we have been working with the developer, who has been really great to work with. Actually, they've been very attentive to our requests for connectivity and trying to make sure that we're connecting pathways where we can. I will tell you, in this instance, we've gone back and forth about the canal pathway, the Hooper Canal pathway, which is a regional pathway. So the way we get pathway typically is through development applications, and as these applications come in, we look at trying to get pieces of that pathway and connect them as best we can. In this case, the canal is located to the south of this project, immediately south and outside of the project boundaries. And so after some back and forth with the Planning Commission, staff, the developer proposed an idea to provide some pathway without being asked to possibly provide more than what's possibly proportionate. So for them to have an approval hinged upon securing that canal pathway that's outside of their project area on land that they don't own seemed to be a bit to ask. We know at some point we'll get it in the future, and so the applicant has proposed what staff feels is a good alternative to this. You okay if I move on, Commissioner Harvey?
please, thank you.
Okay. Just general plan applicability, what they're proposing fits right in with the general plan for this medium-sized lot density. This is, what I wanted to show you is this went before the Planning Commission in August of last year, and since that time there have been just a few changes to the pathway layout. We did bring their proposed changes on the right side of the slide to the Planning Commission, to the chair and vice chair, and they're okay with these changes. They didn't feel the need to have this brought back before them. And so what you're seeing in red are the 10-foot pathways that are being proposed that will be improved and installed by the developer. You can see that instead of cul-de-sacs, we've got road stubs. We've got 2 to the north, 2 to the south, 2 to the east, and 2 to the west. 4700 West, as you know, is slated to be significantly wider than it is, and the applicant, through their development agreement that is attached to your staff report, will be making those improvements.
Before you go on,
Yes.
you said 2 to the south. I don't see the 2 to the south.
I only see one.
Let me point it out here. So in the southeast corner of the development, the applicant is dedicating a half road width
Okay.
right there.
Okay.
Thanks for asking about
So
that. That
one more
wasn't obvious.
question. The
Yes.
black dotted lines on the left, those are sidewalks?
So where there isn't pathway, there is sidewalk on both sides of the road. That's what will be installed at some point, 5-foot wide sidewalks. The one on the left, these were staff comments in red changes that were proposed initially, and as we kind of looked a little bit further through it, it didn't make sense to put in some of these pathway connections where we didn't foresee anything continuing to the north, for example. So this is what we landed on with the developer. Staff feels that this meets the connectivity requirements, it meets the intent of the general plan, and we have this in the development agreement as far as installation. The development agreement will help ensure that we get necessary infrastructure, landscaping, travel pathways, all of that installed. Do you have any questions for me? The developer is here if you have questions for the developer.
Any
I do have a
questions?
question.
Okay, please.
So, talk to me about the 4700 West improvements on the road. I appreciate the connectivity and the trails, but I have some concerns still. That's a lot of traffic that's going to dump out on, and I'm assuming this is a conforming road from the south boundary of their property to 1150 South.
From the south boundary of their property? We are working on that. So the developer does have a similar development a little bit further south, but on the west side of 4700. So as we get those applications in, that development, how that roadway will be developed out, will continue to the south. This is slated to be a 132-foot wide right-of-way. And so we're looking at sidewalk on the west side, pathway on the east side, couple of travel lanes with a turn lane in the middle. We've got 28 wide park strips so that we can widen that road later on at some point. Charlie Ewert in our office has been working for a very long time on these street cross sections. We've been working with engineering and the roads department to make sure that these are feasible, working with UDOT and adjacent municipalities as well to make sure that they mesh with what is in place or what will be in place.
Okay, well, that's really my question, Madam Chair. I just want to make sure that at some point in time, we don't have to go in and purchase existing land. I want to make sure we have enough right-of-way and improvements that will be the responsibility of this developer to pay for, so it doesn't fall back on the citizens of Weber County
Yes.
sometime in the future.
That's a good question. We do have that in the development agreement.
Okay.
That's very specific.
Thank you for that.
Thank you. Commissioner Harvey?
No questions.
Okay, no questions. Don't go too far. Okay, number 4 is public comments. Those who are here for the public hearings, please limit your comments to 3 minutes. If you come forward, please state your name and the city where you live. We will start with the public hearing for the fine increases for the parking violations. If there's anyone to speak to that, please come forward at this time. Are there any online, Christy? Okay. Then we will move to the public hearing for the rezone that was just presented. Anyone who'd like to speak to that? Welcome.
I'm Trek Loveridge. I'm the applicant of this project, and I just wanted to say that staff has been great to work with. We've worked rigorously on the development agreement, and I feel like we're at a good spot. We got the project on the other side of the road approved, and we're really excited to do some development in Weber County. This is a great opportunity, and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Anyone else? Okay, seeing none, we'll move to item 5, request for a motion to adjourn the public hearings and reconvene the public meeting.
So move.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 6, action on public hearings. H2, request for approval of the first reading of an ordinance amending section 42-4-8 of the Weber County Code of Ordinances regarding parking violation fine increases in areas near Pineview and Causey reservoirs.
Madam Chair, happy to make a motion on that with comment.
Please.
So I'd move to approve for the first reading of that ordinance amending that section 42-4-8 Weber County Code regarding parking violation fine increases in the areas near Pineview and Causey, as presented by Mr. Sean Wilkinson this morning. You know, for some people, those fines are fairly heavy. But if you've traveled up there on some weekends, especially those busy weekends, it is a health safety issue that needs to be addressed. I've often, the past couple of years, said the solution is to have some type of shuttle system, very similar to what Powder Mountain does right now, to take people off that road going from Eden into Powder Mountain. So I would hope that sometime a private enterprise or some entrepreneur would step up and start that shuttle service. I think they could make it, but Until that happens, I feel this is probably necessary to help protect those citizens that actually use and recreate on Pineview and those citizens that drive that road.
Thank you, that's a motion.
And then I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Number H3, request for approval to rezone by ordinance 2025-07, approximately 25.69 acres of land located at approximately 600 south and 4700 west from the A1 zone to the RE15 zone, file number ZMA 2024-09.
Madam Chair, based on the discussion or the presentation that Ms. Adelot put forth today, I don't really have a lot of concerns on that. I appreciate the extra work that staff has done, so I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance 2025-07.
I'm happy to second that, and also kudos to Charlie and Planning Commission, obviously Tammy, for the hard work on this. This has been a work in progress, and I think my concerns have been addressed. Obviously, the transportation connectivity becomes a big deal out there as that continues to grow, but we owe a certain amount of respect to the citizens that live out there now, that we want to try to protect their environment as much as possible, understanding that development will take place. So,
Great, I have a motion and a second. Mr. Brent?
Roll call vote for ordinance 2025-07. Commissioner Ford?
aye.
Commissioner Harvey? Chair Bolos?
Aye, motion carries. Item I.
Motion to adjourn, Madam Chair.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.